Okay guys, we have a little bit of a rake update. So my neighbor had a welder that was easily, transported, and he brought it over to help me fix the rake. So I just got done raking, raked fine. So I'll show you what we got. So I changed the cylinder, but the problem I had with this cylinder was it wasn't the cylinder. So it was actually, I don't know if you remember the last videos, this bar was bent, and the bar was bent so bad that it was binding up in this bracket right there, and it wasn't allowing the cylinder to go back, to retract. So the new cylinder was on there yesterday, but that one had too much stroke, and it wouldn't, it actually was coming out too far right here. There's a track, and it was coming off the track. So this morning I changed that back, and we took this bar. This rake was a six wheel rake, 6 wheels on the side. This bar went to the 6th wheel. I had that stored away from when I had taken that off. So we put that on there. We had to cut this tab off of the old one and weld it on this new one. And then we had to drill a hole for this extension for the bolt, and it seems to work fine. The only thing we have now is like the springs are all different. So like the springs are, back there, they're all original. Like most of them, like the back two, I think are original. This one here was one that was on the 6th wheel. I found that and put that on there. This one here was one I found that had been on the 6th wheel. It's kind of bent, but it works. So they're all got just a little bit of different tensions with them, especially on this. It's more noticeable on this side for some reason. But the neighbor, he made some brackets and welded it all up. So we moved the wheels out of the way, and he ground out all the old weld, and he made a bracket, like an L-shaped bracket, put one on this way and then put one on the bottom. Did a really nice job fixing that up. He also welded the thing back on that bar, the new bar, sorry. So I think it's probably 3/8 inch steel or 1/2 inch steel. Beefed it all up nice. And then he also, the other side had just a small crack on the back side, and he just welded that so it wouldn't crack anymore. That one didn't require any, it didn't require a bracket to be made. It was just broke right there, right on the top. He took this off and cleaned it up underneath and welded underneath that, and then put it back so it won't crack anymore. But you can see these wheels over here are all pretty much even with each other, whereas over there, the front one's down farther. They're all down farther than this side for some reason, but the front one's actually down a little bit farther. I don't know why. I'm not sure. I think it's just the springs, but I'm not sure. And this one here, this arm over here is bent, but it works because it was bent the other way, but you can see that it's supposed to be down in the groove, and it's not. And so I think what we're going to do is eventually we'll probably cut this off and put the other piece that we have on there. But this side at least works fine. Even though the cylinder's up out of the track that it's supposed to be on, it works fine. So we're not gonna mess with this side till we have to. I mean, or till the season's over. Probably when the season's over. But it rakes fine. Not picking it up, not being able to pick it up is not really necessarily good, because it puts a little bit more tension on them when you're turning. But I'm pretty happy with it. Got the cylinder back on there, so now we have an extra cylinder in case we need it. Needs a little bit of grease. For next time, we'll grease it up a little bit. What can you do? You fix it, neighbor comes over, he helps you fix it. Pay him some money, for his time, because it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. And, it's going to get me through the season for sure. I think it was like 10 This is at least 10 years ago. It was probably about 10, at least probably 10 years ago, because Laney was a baby when the last guy that welded it, his daughter was coming to the barn. They had a horse boarded at the barn, and I remember she brought Laney a stuffed animal. So 10 years ago it was welded the last time. So I mean, if we get another 10 years out of it, I'm fine with it. You know, that way I can, instead of buying a rake just to have a rake, I can think about it a little bit more and maybe come up with more money and get what you really want, you know. I really would like a rotary rake, but I don't want to go back to single row. So you're talking double rotary rake, you're talking pretty big money. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but probably not, but we'll see. And for now, I mean, this one's going to last us, it'll get through the year for sure. So I was going to square bale, but it's like not super sunny. Like there's some sun, but not tons of sun. It was sunnier earlier. There is rain coming. It's like a 90% chance of rain today, but not till later. I think like 7 o'clock or something like that. Tonight was like the most rain, but there's like a 30% chance at 2 or 3. So I was going to square bale and just do, you know, I think it's probably like 3 loads or so, maybe 4, I don't know. But I really just wanted to square bale 3 loads and unload them and be done with them. But when I went to take the tractor down, I got the 966. I hooked it up onto the corn planter because I want to plant my sunflower seeds. Got the field all ready for the sunflowers finally, and took the tractor down, and fuel gauge is hardly moving, and I can't get any fuel out of the fuel tank. So I called and ordered fuel, and I can't get fuel till tomorrow. So I guess we're just going to round bale. I thought about wrapping some bales because there's some green in it, green wads. But I don't know because the 966 doesn't have fuel, and the 986 I don't have the wheel fixed yet. So if I do wrap bales, I would have to unhook the round baler at least and use that tractor to move bales. So I'm not sure if I want to do that or not, but we will definitely throw the camera in and grab a little bit of round bale footage, I think. So we will be back in a little bit. All right, guys, we are round baling. Tractor's a little dirty, dusty. Did some disking yesterday with it to get ready for planting sunflowers. A little late in the year to be planting sunflowers, but we're gonna do it anyway. Probably tomorrow, unless we can get unless we switch tractors. I don't know. The 966 didn't look like the fuel gauge was even moving. So if you know anything about the 66 series, the last thing you want to do is stall them, especially on a hill, because there is no brakes. So everything runs off the same hydraulic. So this hay here, I mowed on Saturday. Today's Monday. Is it June 30th? Mowed this on Saturday. Raked it up this morning. Got a little late raking it, but it looks pretty good. Like I said previously, there's probably some green wads in it. I don't know, now it looks like it's drier than it was. So raking it, when I was raking it, I could see green wads. Right there's a green wad in the next row over. But I don't see as many right now. At least I don't seem to see that many right now. So, but I do have the wrapper hooked up on the 70, so I may, I forgot to bring wrap with me. So there's part of a roll that's on the wrapper. Right here's a green wad. Part of roll that's on the wrap, of course, has been sitting outside. I have not done a very good job taking care of the wrapper, but a lot of it comes down to just not having enough tractors. You know, you had one that was dedicated to the wrapper, like, oh yeah, just move it back to wherever it's got to be, but instead I don't have that, so I wrap where I wrap, and I take whatever tractor I want to use to the wrapper. Kind of backwards, but I've used the 966 and I've used the 70. And of course with the wheel, I got to fix the wheel on the 986. So I get that back on the mower. So I need 2 loader tractors. One to move bales and one to load bales onto the wrapper, or I have to do all the moving and load with the same one. So I might, depending on what time I get done, it is 12:55 right now. If I get done and it doesn't look like it's gonna rain, I might at least, you know, I'd like to wrap just a couple to see if I can, you know, see if it works, make sure it works. I don't know, maybe the wrap's not going to be any good, maybe it's not going to wrap good, I don't know. I did turn it on, it was on the tractor, I did turn it on, it did spin. I got the counter in here, I think. So I might just wrap a couple, or I might wrap this whole field. Wrapping is something that I would like to do more of. I don't think the baler tripped. Oh, there it goes. I guess it was just one more. Didn't think it started. So I still don't have if you follow me at all last year, you know, I've been fighting with this baler that I replaced everything electronically except for the switch on the baler. And still doesn't beep to tell you if you got a bale. And it's one of those things that, you know, the way that they have with the controller and everything, it's probably way overkill. So you just have to make sure you're looking back, which is not a huge deal. But, you know, if you have the alarm and you get used to listening to the alarm, and you can move the levers and stuff, and you just look in your mirror, and you can almost bail without looking back. But it does make a good bail. I mean, I've got everything else. I got the bugs worked out of it last year, fixed that chain and everything, and it's making real nice bales. And I might make them, I probably should be making just a little bit smaller to wrap them, but I'm not sure. But you know, last year I was making different size bales, and I found out it was that chain was causing the problem. Some green wads here, or at least looks greener. But the year we've had for hay, you know, I mean, it's June 30th, but I'm really just getting started. I've only made 10 round bales and like 40 square bales. Today's really the second day, you know. The rain has just been horrendous. And we're doing hay. I mean, the hay is 4 feet tall or taller, and it's got everything in it. It's like first and second cut and all in one. You know, there's a lot of stuff coming up in the bottom. I didn't think there was a lot of Timothy, but it looks like there's a lot more Timothy than what I thought there was. At least yesterday it looked like there's more Timothy. I mowed a field, different field yesterday. I would really like to do 2 or 3 loads of square bales and round bale. You know, but today would have been a good day to do that probably. But 966 doesn't have fuel. Can't get any more fuel out of the tank. So decided to not square bale And it was cloud. I mean, it's sunnier now than it was. I showed the video when I was showing you the Rake. It's only been, I don't think it's been 40 minutes since I was at the Rake. So, and I had to, you know, I was going to take the corn planter over to the field where I'm going to plant the sunflowers and just leave it there then when that's halfway to the square baler, and then I could just go get the square baler and come back and square bale, and then I could take the baler back over. I always take the baler back over at night and store it inside over there, and then I could have got up tomorrow and or tonight, depending on how the time was, and hooked the corn planter back on and planted sunflowers. Probably don't take an hour to plant the sunflowers. Pretty much could go as fast as the 966 doing that as I want to. You know, I run them I plant them in a corn planter because I bought the plates for the corn planter to do it, and then I just run rows, but then I go back and do it more, so it doesn't end up being all just rows. It was just kind of like broadcasting, but the corn planter's controlling the depth. Whatever it is, I forget, 3/4 of an inch or whatever. So the corn planter's controlling the depth. We could probably broadcast them, and it would probably work, but it'd be harder to control the depth. At least in my experience, when you broadcast, and then you disc it in, you know, and then you pack it, you don't know whether the seed is 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever, you know. It's grass seed and whatnot, so it grows. It takes a little while to come up, whereas the sunflowers, I don't know if they would germinate as well or not. But, so that's why I got the corn planter, was to plant sunflowers, and I actually wanted to plant sweet corn. But sweet corn hasn't worked out, but sweet corn's probably going to work out for next year. I just want to plant enough to have a little roadside stand and make your money back and make a little profit, and you know, just to get started, and if it works we'll do more. And around here, that's what a lot of guys do. They have sweet corn. You know, they have corn, they grow corn, and then they just plant some, you know, the outside row and the sweet corn or whatever. And they have a little roadside stand. Now, we don't have the best location for that, but we do have a lot of people that come to the barn and the cabins and whatnot. So I do want to try it. So we'll cut back up this row here, since it's kind of raked that way. But I'm real happy with the rake. My neighbor helped me out. He did a great job. He made those brackets and welded them on there. I wish the springs were all like, you know, even and the same with each other, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't really know what to do about that. I can't find the springs with the hook already in them. And I don't even know where I would go to have them made, and let alone that. I only found so far, I mean, I did a couple different Google searches, and that was only one spring that I did find, and it didn't have the hook. And that was the only one in stock. I mean, they didn't have two. So, and I need 10. So if I was going to replace the wheels, you know, I would probably if I was going to replace the wheels, I would probably replace the springs as well. But that's one thing about that rake. It does not pick the wheels up very high at all. It does not have high clearance. And you can't get out of a windrow without messing it up at least a little bit. They only pick up about, I don't know, probably not 10 inches. So the thing is now the springs are all different. So some of them pick up 10 inches and some of them are only picking up about 8. But I'm real happy with the weld job that he did. It's going to last me a while like it is. And who knows? I mean, a lot could change. I really would like to do more square bales. To be honest with you, I really don't mind them. Sometimes it's a little hard to get help, but I'd really, my ultimate goal would be to go to some kind of accumulator or a bale wagon or whatever and do square bales and have a place to store them and sell them. And I mean, I will sell them one bale at a time. $5 a bale. I had a girl a couple years ago that was buying them one bale at a time, and she'd put it in the back of her Subaru, you know. The only problem with her was that it was usually like, can I get a bale now? Not can I get a bale tomorrow at 4 o'clock or whatever. It's like, can I get a bale now? So that part was a little inconvenient, but $5 a bale is pretty good for, you know, for that. Obviously, if I got an accumulator and had a place to store them and an easy way to load them and stuff, it would be nice to get more per bale and sell them by the truckload or whatever, but we'll see. I mean, that would definitely be a goal. You know, hay is always in demand somewhere. You know, if you can work out the logistics with a buyer and have a trucker lined up and stuff like that, it's definitely something that you could do and you can make money doing, because I mean, it's always in demand, whether it's in demand in Florida or, you know, Texas or out west where they got, you know, it's in demand here sometimes. Somewhere is always looking for hay, you know. But I got to do something to get, you know, the other thing is, so kind of got to do something to get the hay in, so it's faster and more profitable, or get into something else to take the amount of hay ground away, so I don't have to do as much hay ground as I do. Because it's a little bit too much right now. To be honest with you, I don't have any help this year for sure, you know. I have a neighbor that I know will help me, but he works. I don't think he gets home till like 4:30, something like that. He'd help me anytime I asked him, but you know, a lot of times we're doing square bales. We would like to be done putting them in the barn at 4:30. Now he does have Fridays off, which is nice. If it lands on a Friday that you're doing square bales and he's around, and you can say, hey, you plan on helping do square bales tomorrow? That works out too. But I don't have, last year I had my nephew Zach, and he was driving tractor. He did most of the raking, and he moved ground bales. I don't think he did much baling last year. And it worked good. I mean, it takes it off me. You know, nobody's going to replace Rachel. Rachel did great round baling. You know, she might not always wanted to do it, but she did it. You know, if I say, hey, Rachel, you want to go round bale? She'd say, all right. You know, this field right here, numerous times over the years, I would square bale here and she'd round bale here, and I'd say, well, you just go around the outside and round bale, and I'll square bale. You get the outside done. If I want you to keep going, I'll have you keep going, and we would kind of do that, you know, get our 2 or 3 loads on the square baler, and then she'd keep round baling and I'd go unload square bales. She had Judd on her lap and he'd fall asleep and everything else. I mean, she would do it, and she probably would be doing more, you know, by now. I mean, this last year, you know, she passed away. Judd was, you know, he was 5, so she probably would have even done more tractor driving if I would have wanted her to, or asked. I wouldn't really say the words want to, asked her to, needed her to. So hopefully, Lainey was asking about driving tractor last night, and I said, well, you could probably round bale a little bit. You know, YouTube might not like it. She's 10 years old, but you know, she could round bale this field. It's not real steep, and I mean, all you do is drive with the windrow between the tires and look back and wait for it to hit the stop sign, push the lever forward, dump the bale out. You don't really have to push the clutch in. You just can pull back on the shuttle shift in this tractor and it'll stop. And if you have any trouble, you turn the key off and it'll come to a rolling stop and it probably won't move. And you're going 4 miles an hour. So I mean, it's not like I'm actually baling to the same gear that I was plowing in, and actually going slower because the PTO will only allow, I think it allows 2,100 RPMs, just a little over 2,000 RPMs is all the PTO will allow. Whereas when I was plowing, I had a full throttle. It did pretty good plowing. I'm pretty happy. I plowed the sunflower field over there, and it turned out real good. And we got it yesterday. Yesterday was the first day that I had a little bit of help. A guy named Ben was buying a horse. Comes up on Sundays. He's kind of working off the horse a little bit. And so yesterday was the first day that he drove tractor. So it's nice, but as far as I know, the only days available is on Sundays. So you're fairly limited as to what's going to happen hay-wise on a Sunday. So, honestly, it's a great, Sundays are a pretty good day to square bale if you can get the help, you know. But right now we have horse camp going on, so any day is a pretty good day to square bale. Get some of the bigger helpers to stay after horse camp and put a load of hay in a little bit of no time. But we're just cruising right along. Won't take long, we'll be done baling. And we're at least gonna try, I'm at least gonna try to wrap a bale. Let's say, well, I'm just gonna at least try to wrap one bale. But just to see if the wrapper works. I don't know. I might want to make a little bit smaller bale. You know, after I got the baler, fixed that chain and everything last year, I don't think I ever measured a bale. I know I'm making smaller bales than it's capable of making, but I'm not sure how much smaller, because I'm not sure, you know, how much that spring is stretched out. You know, since the baler's what, 2009, so it's 16 years old. No, 2010. So it's 15 years old. So I'm sure that spring's probably stretched out a little bit, but the bale, I mean, it looks like a nice bale. Basically, I wouldn't mind getting it set to be the biggest bale that you can wrap without trouble. I think some people make them a little bit smaller. I don't know. We'll see. You know, this is a 4x5 baler, but I think and the wrapper's supposed to be for 4x5, but I think you can actually make a bigger bale than 5 foot. So we'll stop this video here and we'll pick up with the wrapper. Oh, there's a block of wood. And we'll get out and pick up the block of wood that came out of nowhere. We'll stop this video right there and we'll pick up in a little bit with the wrapper. Probably, I don't know what I got so far. 3, 6, so yeah, we're probably gonna get like 12 about maybe 15 bales. So I don't know if I'm gonna wrap them all, but I'm probably gonna at least wrap like 2 just to see, make sure everything works. But we'll be back. All right, guys, we are planting sunflower seeds. So, got the round baling all done, made about 12 bales, and actually went and checked the moisture, and there was a couple of bales that were about, one was 22, a couple of them were about, I just have the old contractor moisture checker, so anything over 15 it beeps, and it beeped on most of them. So then I had to go get the third link for the 70 to hook it on the bale wrapper, and I did that, and it wouldn't pick the bale wrapper up. So I messed around with that for a little bit. The hydraulics are not working at all. Had that problem with that tractor before. I don't know, it like air locks or vapor locks or whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it, but it did it a couple years ago, and it was a couple days before I could finally get it to work. It's a little low on fluid, but not super low. I mean, it's on the dipstick. And if you know anything about today's tractors, the dipsticks are pretty well worthless. So I decided it was nice enough, and since I already had the round baler, since I already had the round baler unhooked, I decided to just hook this 110C up on the corn planter and come over here and plant the sunflowers rather than wait for fuel for the 966 and wait another day or 2 days. I don't know what time they bring fuel. They said tomorrow. Could be tomorrow morning, could be late tonight, really. The guy actually lives right over here. He's our neighbor. Whether he brings fuel home with him, that's probably what he'll do, is he probably will bring fuel home with him, and he'll come over and, might be a little close to that pole. Oh, got her. It's gonna spin around it though. So he'll probably bring it with him and do it tonight, or he might do it first thing in the morning or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So we didn't square bale. So made the round bales. Probably should have raked the other field that I had down and baled that, but I was gonna wrap, so I decided not to, kinda. And then the tractor didn't want to work, so we're not wrapping. So we're gonna get these sunflowers planted. And I'm not using the markers, I'm just driving around. I mean, I can see my tracks. I'm not trying to get perfect 30-inch rows like you do when you plant corn. There's no combine driver that's gonna be pissed off at me because my rows aren't straight. No GPS, no nothing like that, So I'm just gonna plant them, and then I'm just basically gonna drive around. The one hopper was empty, and these are seeds from last year. I'm assuming they're fine. One hopper was empty, so I took some with my hands from the other one and put into it. And basically I'm gonna drive around till I cover the field, probably twice or whatever I think is good. I don't really want rows. I would like to just have a broadcast look to it when it's all done. And it's kind of nice to have a few less in that one, because then I can check it to, I was able to put a handful in there and drive a little bit and check it and see if it was working, and it looked like it was. I still, I'm not sure how you know for sure unless you want to get out and see if you can find some seeds. Not sure if the drone, I put the drone on point of interest, guess it's over there. Is it turning with me? Drone has not moved. It's right there. I can't tell if it's watching me or not. I don't think so. So we'll stop up here and give the drone another chance. I have like no patience for the drone. I'll just say that. Lost me on the turn. Like, what the heck? I've seen people do it where they do point of interest or whatever, and it does great, but I don't know if it's me or what. And then you're always in here in the cab, and it's bright. You got your sunglasses on. You can't see nothing on the screen. Can't see your phone screen. Can't see your drone controller screen. So it's always just a pain. Why it won't. See if it gets any footage this time. Might need to. I guess the drone on this setting, I guess the drone's not moving at all. Thought it was supposed to be doing a circle. But there's wires on the other side, so I don't know if I really want it to do active track. See, it's not keeping the tractor, it's losing the tractor little by little. Really wish they would update it as far as what they're looking for a vehicle. I mean, just make it wheels or something. See, it's really on the corn planter right now, which is fine, as long as it stays there. But I'll bet you it's gonna lose us up here on the turn. The dust cloud, I mean, something you could follow. So we're just gonna drive around. This is my second time around. You can see where the tracks are. I really don't care. Just want to get some sunflowers to grow. Hopefully the deer stay out of them. Hopefully they grow. Kind of makes you mad. I mean, the amount of deer that we have is just ridiculous. And I don't think they were interested in the sunflowers. I don't think they knew what they were. But I think the grass grew up in them, and they like that grass. And they went for the grass, and they were eating the grass, and they were like, hey, what's this other stuff? And they started nibbling on those leaves. I know deer really like, they really like young plants, like new, fresh, new leaves. At least they seem to. And so they just started chewing on them. They were about 6 inches tall. And they started chewing on them, and I think they killed them all off. Now, we didn't spray. The field wasn't sprayed. So now, I mean, it's got sprayed. I don't see, I don't see much of anything. This out here was disced before it was sprayed, and over there wasn't. I was gonna try to plow it, but the hay was so tall, it just kept wadding up in the plows and made it so that side over there is not very smooth at all. So I mean, that's just the way it goes. But this looks pretty good. We plowed it, or I dissed it before my neighbor sprayed it, and then we plowed it, and it turned out pretty smooth. I plowed it out, so I got a dead furrow right here in the middle a little bit, but had Ben there, who has a horse at the barn, trying to work off some of the horse payment or whatever. He dissed it. He never dissed before. He never drove a tractor much before. So he dissed it. He did a pretty good job. I probably, if I would have had, you know, more time, I probably would have had it. I probably would have done it, changed directions and done it one more time, but it's fine. It's going to work. Sunflower's going to grow. It's not like it has to be smooth for a combine or anything like that. And, well, I tell you, I am really happy with those plows. I hope I can find, well, this tractor's dirty. I hope I can find shins and points and everything for those plows, the right ones. I'm not sure about the shins that I have, whether they're the right ones or not, but I'd like to, see, it kept me there. I'd like to find a place that has them and get like 3 or 4 sets. 3 or 4 sets will last me quite a while. But what I like about the plows is I like how they plow. I like to get these tires loaded on this. I really like to get suitcase weights for the front that you could take on and off. I mean, I could probably put them on and off. You know, you could pick them up with a skid steer or something. I mean, even if you had to take them completely apart and it took you an hour or two to put them on and off, it'd be better, you know, you could take the loader off. But I think this tractor's got a lot of power. It just isn't heavy. I know I was watching a video of Fixing Farming and Fabricating. Andy they had bought a tractor and they have scales and they weighed it, and he said it was too light, and he said it was what did he say, they wanted 10,000 pounds for every 100 horsepower. Well, this tractor's 110 horsepower, well, I think at least, right? And this tractor is 110 horsepower. Stock, I think, is like 9,000 pounds. It does have wheel weights, so it's probably close, but I think it definitely, with the turbo and everything, it's definitely got a lot of power. And I think a little bit more weight would, especially in the tires, would definitely help it. So, boy, the drone doing a good job now. So let's see if it makes, it doesn't like this turn. It must be because of the tall grass. We'll see if it keeps with me. So I just think it, you know, I mean, it's got a lot of power. It really does. It's just, you know, I've never had this tractor stuck, but I've had it spin pretty good, you know. It's just spins just a little bit too much. Oh, the drone lost me. Guess there's too much in the background right there. Doesn't like the background. Now it's got low battery. We'll see if we can get it to land. And we'll just it's gonna land. Drone's landing by itself. Now, of course, same thing happened to me today as happened last time. I had the drone. I've had it in the side-by-side for probably 3-4 days or more. And so it's been probably a week since the batteries were charged. And I slapped the battery in there. And I think it said, it wasn't fully charged. I think it was 2 or 3 out of 4. Well, we'll see if it's getting real close. Had it so it's landing on the case. Doesn't want to land. I can't tell if it's got to be close. Oh, heck, it's right on it. Oh! And it gets dancing around. Oh, look at that. Oh. Just slipped off the case. As long as the propeller didn't hit anything, it'll be fine. But pretty cool. We've got a little bit of footage there. But yeah, I don't think the battery is fully charged. So that's what we're doing. We're just planting sunflowers. We're gonna see what grows. This is Rachel's field. As far as I'm concerned, this is where Rachel and I, my wife Rachel and I, got married here, August 16th, 2014, right up here, pretty close to where the drone landed. Actually, was where the was it the arbor, altar? I guess it's an arbor. I made an arbor, dug holes with a post hole digger, and put it right in the field. And then after the wedding, we took it down. But had electric. There's an electric pole over there. We had the electric company hook the electricity up to the pole, and then after the wedding, they moved the electric service to the sugar house. And so she always wanted to plant sunflowers. I'm like, I don't know nothing about planting sunflowers. Because there's always somebody in the area that plants sunflowers, and they take, people go out and take pictures and all that. Rachel's friend, one of her friends that was in our wedding, is getting married, and she's actually been asking people who's planting sunflowers so that they could get married with sunflowers in the background. So I gotta jump out and turn the drone off, and we'll just slap at the case. I don't know if I'll lose connection or not, but we'll see. Not gonna mess with the drone anymore today. I'm almost done, about halfway done. I don't know if we got the mic still or not, but we'll see. I can't tell if anything's moving. This camera has a lock screen. The camera that is on me is on lock screen. I just see the numbers moving. Hopefully the mic is still working. What? A lot of dust on top. So, I'm almost done with the video. Anyway, so just want to plant sunflowers, and I really just want to see them grow. Somebody asked me, well, is there a market for them, whatever? There is a market for them. They don't make a ton of money, but some people do them as a, second crop. They'll take something off early, like wheat or something like that, and early, something that you take off in June. I think some people do winter wheat in June, and then they'll go back and they'll plant sunflowers, and they'll take them off with a combine, and then they sell them. And they don't get tons of money for them, but it's like for the cost. I guess it depends on how you plant them, right? If you already got the field and it doesn't take a whole lot of work to do it, it's probably worth it. I don't think I have the camera's outside, it's getting dirty. I don't think I have enough, to do that. Normally, I don't have really much time to do it in the first place, but, sounds like a good idea, And then I don't know, some of them take the stalks. Do stuff with the stalks. I'm not sure. I think I've seen that too, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so right here, over there by that pole, I want to build a softball field. That's kind of like my And so we're planting sunflowers on it, but then we'll go out and the home plate is going to be right over there by that pole with the guide wire. And so you actually have bat and second base will be pointed down towards the pond. I think that would give it the best. You want to hit towards the road, not that you're going to hit tons of home runs or whatever, but you don't want to hit towards the road anyway. And my girls are both into softball, and Judd is getting into hitting and playing ball a little bit. He's probably going to play ball next year. So I don't know why my brothers and I never built a field when we were kids, really. I mean, we always played at our house, which the lawn is very small. So I don't know how far we're going to get with it, but Laney's 10, Letty's 8. So I mean, Judd's 6. They got a lot of time to play still. I just want to play, just home plate and the bases and outfield and basically, a dirt infield, so it's like a softball field. That way, if I could go over there and I hit grounders to them and stuff, it's actually going to be, you're going to get the same reaction you would get if you're going to hit grounders on, at a field in a game. So I'm not sure, so I'm planting the sunflowers right over where I would make the infield, and then what we'll do is we'll probably mow them or cut them or whatever, but actually what we're going to do is I'm probably not going to worry about it, but I don't know if when I start the field, I don't know if the sunflowers are going to be growing yet or not. Probably not. But my idea is just to get a rope and figure out where I want home plate, and then get a rope and do like a 200-foot, half, what is it? I guess it's a quarter of a circle, whatever, from left field to right field, and then do the same thing with the infield. Then we'll just go in the infield and we'll just start raking. And that's the nice thing about it being plowed is, it doesn't, looking at it now, it's right in front of me. It's got a down, a hole coming towards me, but I'm not sure how far that is away from, how far that is, whether that's inbounds or out of bounds. But having it be plowed, it's got 8 or 10 inches of relatively loose dirt that you can just move around, right? And I kind of want to just have an area where get the area where I think I want the infield, well, actually the whole field, and get it raked for stones and stuff, and just see how it handles the rain, right? So if we get it smooth and it rains, it's different than if it's not smooth, right? And it's the same thing as if it was all hay, it rained, you'd have a hard time telling whether or not you had water problems or not. And you actually do kind of want to have some kind of, you don't want it to be perfectly flat, but you don't want it to be, actually goes downhill towards, it's higher by the road. Well, that's fine, we can, dig it out or whatever. So maybe, I don't know, looking at it, maybe we'll have to move it just a little bit. But that's the idea. And then I read about it a little bit. They're like, oh, you want to have it so that the outfield's lower. And at practice the other day, we played at the stadium, and basically there's a drop-off. Right behind home plate, there was a drop-off. And there's definitely a drop-off in the outfield, the way they have that field done. So anyway, we're going to finish up planting these and then see what else we can get into before the day's over. I have to jump out and check the seed, make sure that we're not running out. I'll do that down here by this corner because we're closer to the house. If I decide to go get some more seed, it's the closer end. It's the closest to the house. And I can walk to the house and get some seed in the 4-wheeler and come out and put seed in. And I don't really care if one runs out. It's not that big a deal. The way I'm planting it, one can run out and it'll still be fine. About 2 more passes and I'll have the whole thing covered once. So we're gonna call that a video for today. A little bit of round baling, a little bit of rake talk about fixing the rake, and a little bit of planting sunflowers. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more from Triple D Farms, Triple D Cabins, and Triple D Maple. Thanks for watching and have a great day.